I got the juice like a snow cone. Ice in my veins and a cold flow. I'm getting cash overseas by the boatload. You wanna ride my wave? That's a no-go. Senoritas going loco. Make it bounce like a pogo. All my haters see rojo. They big mad cause they coming up short like Frodo. Activate the beast mode. I keep it hot, give your brain a heat stroke. You ain't a big shot, you some basic B-roll. The world is mine like my name's Pacino. Hey, it's Nico, I guess I'm back. Catch me in the fast lane on the right track. And my shorty is a 10 like a dime bag. Got me feeling like a millie, check the price tag. Got the party jumping like crisscross. Got the gold chain and the wristwatch. Pull up on the scene like a big shot. EDM and hip-hop, ain't no time for pit stops. Got the party jumping like crisscross. Got the gold chain and the wristwatch. Pull up on the scene like a big shot. EDM and hip-hop, is my style.
Hello, Termex guys here. Wait, that's not right. Hello, guys, Termex here, and welcome back to another New World build video. We're on to another build, and this one has been the most annoying to figure out so far in terms of everything I've done. We've done the Rapier Artifact, we've done Spear, we have done Void Gauntlet, we've done a lot of different builds, even Sword and Board, which was really fun, but we haven't done Hatchet, and I know Hatchet this season has a lot of bugs. Right now, Berserk does not get you out of the correct routes like it's supposed to. For some reason, I do not think it is a intended change. I do think it is definitely a bug. So this build is already severely hindered in that aspect, but it still works out pretty well. If I'm being honest, I'm really just putting this out there for the people that want to try it, because it is fun. Don't get me wrong, it does have some strengths and advantages to it, but comparatively to the other builds, it's just really not there. And if you're wondering about the Artifact Hatchet, for some reason, I haven't been getting it to drop in Genesis, so I'm 98% sure that it only drops from the Mutated Genesis, which is currently not out. But even if we did have the Artifact variant of a Hatchet, or the Artifact Hatchet itself, it would only reduce our cooldowns, so my armor set has maintained to be pretty consistent throughout my entire build series. So once again, we are running the Featherweight setup, which allows us to be in 12.9 out of 13. All you have to do is have a heavy helmet, heavy boots, and then the rest is lights, of course. Important armor perks are going to be Enchanted Ward and Health at the moment. I do know Shirking Healing does exist, and it is very powerful, but I do not think it's going to maintain that status into the next balance patch, so I'm holding off on using it. Yes, you could use it now for the time being. You could also use like thrust conditioning or slash conditioning. There's nothing wrong with that. Pretty viable alternative to Enchanted Ward. For the Hatchet itself, there's only really one perk that matters, and that's Refreshing Distancing Throw. So when we hit somebody within 6 meters of social distance, which is good because that's usually our get the hell away from them ability, we're going to get a 44% cooldown back on that ability. But to make this even easier, we do have Keen Speed, giving us a 20% haste for 7 seconds on a critical hit. Really nice, because on top of that, it stacks with the Berserk haste, and that almost makes us hit haste cap, because haste cap in this game is 50%, and if you look over into the hatchets, we get a whopping 20% while Berserk is active. On top of the throw, we are going to be hitting a 40% haste, which is 10% off of the game's haste cap, which is really nice. You get to really move around and just be annoying, and it's very different for people to see somebody with a bow and hatchet again. Even though the hatchet has some bugs right now that I hope they fix, it is still a pretty powerful combo when you get that rending throw off and the social distancing, and there's a lot of fun combos that you can do with it. The last one is Rogue, kind of a dead perk, but if you could magically backstab somebody, I guess you can get some value out of it. I would just say I recommend Refreshing Distancing Throw, and Keen Speed is just amazing on top of it. The bow, I feel like I go over this in every video. You know where to get this damn bow, and if you don't know where to get this amazing bow, make sure you check out my channel with the best in-slot bow farm. It is the easiest thing in the world to do, and it's well worth it. This time around, we're actually running Cannon Blast because of the penetrating cannonball. It's won me some fights. It's definitely great against the heavier tank bruiser type that like to just hold their shield out in front of them. They're low on health, they think they're immortal. Shoot this right through them, and then you're going to show them what a real Cannon Blast looks like, if you know what I mean. For the jewelry, we do have the Dexterity Amulet with Thrust Proc, Health, and Shirking Dot Cleanse. Shirking Dot Cleanse is just going to make us lose a debuff every time we dodge an attack, which is almost borderline best in slot in my opinion, because this season is a season of damage over time, and it is very, very annoying. Even though bow does a great job of doing it itself, it doesn't make it any less annoying. We also have this ring right here with bloodletting to extend our bleeds, but this can definitely be slotted out for something else because we're not really using too much bleed in this setup like we did with our other builds. We have hardy, so we could use that second dodge without draining stam, and of course thrust damage makes the whole world go round. I would argue you might want to put slash damage on this if you're going to use the hatchet more than the bow, but personally I find myself 50-50ing, but mainly playing distance to use my bow a lot more often, because let's be honest, if you have a hatchet and you're not strength spec'd and you're trying to do a one-on-one fight with a medium armor bruiser, you're gonna lose 9 out of 10 times. And the earring, which is going to be from a expedition, I forgot which one, but it does roll with healthy toast, so our mana potions give us some health. Refreshing, of course, for the refreshing toast gives us our potions faster because they suck now, and healing hearts, so when we activate our heart rune we get 10% of our max health instantly. It may not sound like that much, but it has a huge benefit in certain situations when you're doing 1v1s or 1vx's. Now for the guitar we're going to be using in this build is going to be this one. It's very important. I'm kidding. Now as for the hatchet tree, there's nothing really too notable here. We wanted to capstone the bottom of throwing for the persistence hindrance, giving us more damage on targets applied with a hatchet debuff, which is really nice, and they deal additional damage per debuff, which is really, really good. We're going to get rending throw, giving us a 20% rend on somebody, which is just insane, allowing us to rend them for 10 seconds, switch over to our bow, and deal massive damage. And of course, we have the Berserk, and I know a lot of people are going to say, why aren't you running Undying? You want the second life. If you really want to run Undying, go ahead. Personally, I feel like I don't need it. I feel like with this distance setup, I am not playing so aggressively that I need Undying to rely on a second life. But if you want to do that, the option is there for you. You're just going to have to sacrifice some damage and quality of life perks over in the right-hand tree. Now, the bow I actually had a lot of ideas with. I originally ran Evade Shot because I wanted more movement. Then I tried Explosive Arrow, but honestly, the dots are just outperforming all those abilities right now. The dots from Rain of Arrows, the bleed, they're just simply outperforming Explosive Arrow. Yes, Explosive Arrow is good, but that burn proc really doesn't do much, and the initial arrow seems like it doesn't hit anyone for anything. I don't know if people are just running more thrust damage in this meta, but I could definitely feel like certain bow abilities are just not hitting as hard as they used to. But I will, however, say that pen shot is well worth your time, as it's a very reliable, basically second attack worth of heavy damage. So if you charge up a heavy and then go right into a pen shot, it's like you just spammed 2 heavy attacks into somebody, which is very, very powerful for confirming kills. And of course, attributes. We're going to be running 380 dex. I know 380 dex is a little bit different. People are going to be a little confused. I wanted a little bit more dex on my hatchet and bow, but I have learned that anything past 380 is not worth your time. Plus, it helps out with the bow damage since we're going to be relying on that a lot more, because the hatchet is more of a debuffer in this situation, but we're still going to rock the 50 intelligence for the damage over time passive and the critical hits and backstab damage. 64 strength just for the capstones and the pips, plus hatchet actually primarily scales off of strength, so it does help out there. You may be wondering, why are you running 82 con? That's such a weird position to be in. Well, that's because my gear only allows me to do 82, because that's what my gear is spec'd for. So when I pop a 40 con food, I will still hit the 100. Yes, this build isn't as tanky as other builds, but like I said, the whole purpose of this build is to not be touched. That's why you have the rending throw. That's why you have Berserk for movement speed. That's why you have keen speed for movement speed. That's why you have social distancing, the move back and root them. You have the bow. You have so many utilities here to not get touched. I would almost argue you probably don't even need 80 con if you're playing the build correctly. I would even spec that for more strength if you truly wanted to. Now for the cycle with this, I would just recommend use your rending throw as much as possible. Get that debuff. Start popping in those bow dots. If they start getting close to you, you could always social distance away. You could even Berserk, do a rend right there, start dodging away, and they're not going to catch you. If you hit a critical hit, they're not even going to catch you ×2. The only thing I could say, don't think just because you have Hatchet and Berserk that you're going to be a tanky one-man army. I know, I understand when you activate that little scream, you have that feeling inside you to want to give it a shot, but don't do it. Remember, your bow is your main weapon with this build, and the Hatchet is just there to make your bow experience a lot more smooth, and I would look at it that way. This is not a super high damage, mega bleed stack build like a lot of other ones have been on my channel, but it definitely gets the job done for those people that do want to give Hatchet a try. But that's the build, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you hit that like on it, as it does spread out all my new world content to more people in the community. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on another video from me, guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you all later.